Hey everybody, what's up? It's Brad from Ghost Gaming. So, we have played this game for a few days shy of an entire month. I have grinded, I've played, I've done almost everything the game has to offer. The only thing I'm lacking is some challenges. I've gone in, done a few, whatever, they're what they are. I've bought all the bikes, I've ridden all the bikes. From 450 to 250, I've done online, in lobbies, created my own lobbies. I've done the time attacks, customized championships, online tracks, created my own tracks. I've done the 250 East and West careers, and the 450 career. I am currently sitting at, I think, like 88% of all trophies collected in the game. I think I only have 5 or 6 to collect. But the real question is, should you buy the game? And the answer to that question is hell yes. Buy this game. Even if you don't like the previous Supercross games. This is different. I didn't like the previous Supercross games. They were okay. They're too easy. This is different. The physics of the game, how the bike is on the ground, and the in-air physics, how the bike moves in the air, up, down, sideways, whips, scrubs, they are different. It's not one action. It's not a button that you push and it creates the same exact animation every single time you push a button or move the joysticks. And here you can actually create your own whip. You can make it your own style. The tracks have multiple lines in them. It's not Supercross 1 and 2. There was a few tracks that were, they had a couple different line choices you can take, but for the most part, the main race line was, the tracks are just basically one line. For the most part. Not in this game. There's the race line, and then there is what I like to call the big lines. There's actually even kind of like a seat bounce preload type deal in this game, which is first for a milestone game as far as I know. I don't recall one being in any of the MXGP games or any of the previous Supercross games, which is nice. It allows you to hit those big lines, or let's say you hug the shit out of the inside of a corner, you can pretty much preload and still make that triple most of the time. Not always, but most of the time you're going to be able to still do the line. That's cool. It adds substance to the game. I'm super impressed with it. I've not really been a Milestone fan. I bought their games pretty much knowing what I was going to get before I even played it. But more importantly, I bought the games to support the motocross gaming community. I want the games to keep coming. I want the games to keep
We are in Houston, and today the riders
to
will
become
challenge each other here
better.
in the Lone Star State of Texas. Ricky, are you ready for another exciting race?
And they made some
ready, Ralph, and we can expect
drastic
anything from a race
changes
of this kind. You'll see.
in this game. You cannot compare any of the milestone games to this. It is a completely
The
different
crowd is
game.
into it tonight.
You will not,
That will definitely get these riders.
like I have in the previous games, you are not going to set the controller down after 2.5, 3 weeks and go, okay, I'm bored. I'm still having fun playing this game. I still, want to come home after work and throw Supercross 3 in and shred it. Not multiplayer. 10 times better than they were in Supercross 1 and 2. Get the weird network issues or lobby problems or all the other crap that, I'm sure you guys that have played those games know exactly what I'm talking about. The much more stabler, which is cool. It makes it better for racing. It seems like the competitiveness online is, I wouldn't say more equal, because it's not the right word. It's better though. You don't really see, like in Supercross 2, you get in online, and there would be like 2 or 3 dudes that were like a half a track in front of you after, like half the race. And you're just like, what the fuck, man? Well, on here, you're not going to see it. Because if you screw up on here, and you don't time your rhythm right in the rhythm section, you come up short, or you over jump, or you hit a tough block, you lose a lot of time. You can't just recover from it quickly. It slows your momentum down. That's another thing that they added to how the bike feels. There's momentum or inertia that you can actually feel in this game when you enter a corner, or just when you're in a rhythm section going through a warp. You can feel the inertia of the bike that Supercross 2 does not have, or the first Supercross, or hell, even the MXGP games. And so if you're on the fence about this game, and you haven't played it yet, you haven't bought it yet, you definitely need to pick it up. Everything in here is different. The cornering, the jumping, bike movement, the whole deal has changed. What the community has been asking for from them for other games. Bigger jumps, more air, better ground physics, free the bike up in the air. Make it so we can create our own corner that make the track have more than one damn line. They actually finally listened. The only thing they haven't listened to any of us on is the damn tough blocks. They still feel like you hit a concrete wall when you run into them. Like, no, well, that's obviously the problem. Most of the time when you run into these boogers like that, I barely hit the damn thing. Knock shelf bite. But yeah, definitely 110% go buy this game. You know, and you gotta put a minimum, absolute minimum, 8 to 12 hours of actual gameplay. I promise you, you will not pick this up and play it and fall in love with it within the first hour or two of playing it. Because you're going to think the same thing I did. You're going to be like, oh, okay, that's going to be like Supercross 2, no big deal, I've been playing that game. And you're going to get in there and go, what the hell? This is a mess. And it's not. Once you get used to it, and you start figuring out what you can do in the corners, how to attack the different lines on the track, how to do your preloads, how to do the different whips, line choice, it all comes together and starts clicking for you, then you're going to be like, hell yeah, this is some badass shit. And then you're going to do what I've done. You're going to go in, you're going to go for the trophies, you're going to hop online and you're going to try to figure out, you know, how can I catch that guy that's a second in front of me? You know, what line can I take to be faster than him? And that's what's cool about online, is, I mean, you don't have these people online that are, you know, 25 seconds faster than you. You know, they're like, at the most, 3, 4, you know, if they're super, super good, you know, they might get you by 6 seconds. But I have yet, in a month of me playing this, I have yet to run into somebody that's totally just slapping my ass. Just cleaning my clock on the track by 15-20 seconds. I have not ran into that yet after a month of playing. Not saying it's not going to happen later on in the future. You know, as we all get better at this game and figure out, you know, bigger, faster lines. Like, that's a big line right there. You're supposed to double, table. This you can actually quad. That's supposed to be a triple. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's a fast line on this track to where, you know, if you're trying to make up a lot of ground and you quad that triple when the rest of the guys are tripling it, or I should say, it sounded kind of stupid. When you quad that over the triple, rather than triple the triple, you make up quite a bit of time. But yeah, I mean, I 110% recommend going and grabbing this game, giving it a shot. You have to dedicate 8 to 12 hours of gameplay before you decide whether you're going to like this game or not. Because I'll be honest with you, I'll be 100% honest. When I first got, so that's another fast line too, if you can make it. When I first got this, and I popped it in, and I was prepping myself for this game to come out by playing Supercross 2, getting used to the controls, and I figured the physics would be similar. I knew they'd be different, but I figured they'd be similar. That way I could get in here and just put some work in, and yeah, no. I'm not gonna lie, I got frustrated. I was like, the hell? But, like always, I stuck with it, I learned it, I wanted to learn it. You know, I wanted to really see what the game was about before I completely, so to speak, did my final judgment. And I love it. And so will you. You're not going to be disappointed. I mean, it's got everything that we've asked, pretty much. It's not a perfect game. They're still working on it, and I hope Milestone keeps going in this direction. You know, with freeing up the physics and, you know, working on giving us some more content, because we all know they've been pretty lackluster on content. You know, so hopefully it turns into kind of like an MX versus ATV, where they release, you know, additional content every quarter or something. You know, and sure, it should be in the game. You know, nobody wants to pay additional for content, but I mean, if it's reasonable, I mean, like, look at the MX versus ATV. When they release content, I think the most I've paid for their DLC content was like $13, $14. And it came with like, I don't know, 5, 6 tracks or something like that, or 2 compounds and something. I mean, like, Jesus, make it reasonable if you're going to add content. Don't mind paying for it. But you know, what really turned me off from Milestone, and I wasn't going to give them a chance, was when in Supercross 2, when they added that 19 whatever 80 or 90 Anaheim 1 vintage Supercross thing, and they charged us all like $6 for it. And it's like, really? I mean, we already spend, you know, AAA price on these games. You know, help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, hopefully that's a road that they're not going to go down anymore. Hopefully they're going to give us more content. There's already quite a bit of content in this game. You know, I feel like there's more content in this game than there is in Supercross 2. I could be wrong. It could be the same amount of content. But I feel like there's more there. As far as track editor, I mean, yeah, I'd say that's probably the most place it's lacking in. You know, you pretty much have all the pieces from Supercross 2, plus probably, I would say 6 to 10 more new pieces as far as like jumps or sections. You have the ability to pretty much make anything you want sand, which is cool. You can make an entire sand track if you want. So I do think that's cool they added that in there. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as Supercross 2 as far as track editor goes. There's not really anything like, oh my god, this is so badass. It's pretty much similar other than a few new pieces. Apparently, I've heard, and don't quote me on it, but I've heard through the grapevine that supposedly there's talk of them releasing some additional pieces for the track editor. Don't know if it's true. If it is, fantastic. You know, I think there should be definitely a lot more pieces. But, you know, it's kind of one of those, you know, you gotta give and take. You know, I'm not super worried about track editor right now because of how much change has been made to the gameplay. You know, it's kind of like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. track editor, it is what it is. Because obviously they've made some huge strides on this gameplay. So, you know, I can kind of take the lackluster track editor. But I can tell you right now, if they did not change the gameplay and did what they've done with the track editor, this would be a completely different video. So, all you guys that are motocross, supercross fans, you know, if you've played milestone games, or you've never played a milestone game, or you've never played a supercross game, or you've played a supercross game and hated it, go pick this one up. You will love it. I promise you. I can't say it enough. This is, for me, the first time that I can actually give props to Milestone. I have talked so much trash about Milestone on their other games, on how lackluster they are, and how retarded arcadey they felt, and just lack of content in general, that, I mean, it was to a point that I wasn't going to buy this game. Actually, Pro. I wasn't going to buy MXGP Pro. And then after playing Pro, I was like, why did I do that? You know, same shit. But I saw some gameplay footage on this at Supercross. I watched some gameplay footage from guys like Kellen from Structure Systems. Great channel, go follow the guy. He puts out a lot of awesome content. Donut, again, he puts out a lot of great content. Tylen, Scooty Puff Jr., Spencer Turley, you know, all those guys had some sort of content on this before it came out, you know, and listening to what they had to say about the game, because they pretty much all thought about the same way I did about Milestone games. So their opinion, considering we thought alike on those games, their opinions mattered to me. You know, what they thought of the game was going to really determine whether or not I bought the game. And, you know, when they were like, oh, hell yeah, you know, they did this and they changed this and it feels like this and it's so much better and, you know, etc., etc. You know, that was like, alright, I'm going to buy it. So, I definitely recommend it to you. Go out, buy it, put some time in it. Don't give up after an hour or two. Put 8 to 10 hours in this damn thing. Get good at it if you're on PlayStation 4. Send me a friend request. I mean, I'll be more than happy to jump in and help you, race you, race your track, or you want me to ride your track. You know, if you go in and build one, you know, I'm pretty much going for that stuff. I'm not your typical YouTuber that, you know, oh no, blah blah blah, I don't play games with my subscribers. I don't even care if you're subscribed to me or not. I'll play a game with you. I'll ride your track. I'll tell you what I think. If you want my help, you know, how to become, you know, how do you do this, or how do I do this, or what line, you know, should I take, or what do I need to do to get there? Shit, man, just ask. I'll be more. I'm that gamer. I love going in and